So, most deaf people tend to avoid jobs where people whisper. And I picked banking because it's where rich people will lean in very close to you and talk like they're trying to confess a murder and where the bodies are buried. And then I just get to smile, like, absolutely, give me a minute while I pretend that was English. And I'll count out some cash, and then maybe I'll count out some other cash, and I won't know which they need, so I'll give them both. So, that's where I worked as a bank teller. This was right after college. It was at the corner of Woodston Street, which is right near the Boston Marathon finish line, and Clarendon Street. And that intersection is sort of akin to Park Avenue and 57th Street in 57th Ave in New York. So it's like a fancy, fancy neighborhood where even the pigeons are sort of look like they're financially secure. They're not eating breadcrumbs, they want their cannoli. So I worked at this bank for 1 year. And in that 1 year, we had armed robberies, not once, not twice, but 3 times. And so at that point, it doesn't really feel like a bank anymore. It's more like a rewards program. Congratulations, sir. Your checking account now includes complimentary armed robbery. Here is your shotgun. And we can check if there's cash in there, maybe. So I was teller number 1 of 7. There was a security vault that was right next to my station, right near the main door to the bank. So you could see where people would come in, they'd then have to wait in a line to go one at a time to go up to the vault. I was the only teller near that. The teller right next to me was Helen. She was goth. And this was back before corporate America really knew what to do with goth people. But she had the full white face makeup and jet black dyed hair, black mascara, lipstick. She really looked like maybe she should be working part-time managing a cemetery. But she was really a phenomenal teller. She was incredibly detail-oriented. She could count cash faster than a counting machine at a casino. She was probably OCD. That if a penny was missing from anything she counted, she would immediately know which president was responsible. So, a day later, when the bank was about to close, typically I would close up my window, turn my hearing aids off so I could go balance funds, check the cash and checks, all in silence. That way I could focus better. They're really the best noise-canceling headphones on the market. Completely crushing your AirPods. So I'm sitting there going through all my end-of-day tasks, and in my peripheral vision, I notice Helen has started taking cash out of her drawer and is throwing it out the window. So as I'm counting, I'm just like, I guess Helen finally lost it. That she's finally snapped, she's hit her limit and decided, you know what? The money belongs to the people. And so I look over at her, and I realize she's already looking at me. And her eyes are wide. And her face somehow looks maybe whiter than usual. Which honestly, medically should not have been possible. Then I look down the line, and I notice that all 6 of the other tellers are all staring straight at me. And then I noticed the manager was staring at me, and our 2 customer service reps were staring at me. And so finally my eyes zoom out and I see two guys with guns just standing there, staring directly at me. And I realize, okay, so this is not an accounting issue. And so the whole time I've been, they're like trying to break into the vault, and I had no idea. I was just sitting there like, and I mean, like I guessed to the robber, the two of them, it looked like I was, like imagine them risking 20 years in federal prison and then losing an argument to a deaf guy with a calculator. And I feel like the other guy must have yelled out like, forget the vault room, forget it. This deaf guy is clearly the man in charge here. And so the two of them left the bank. And then I was like, wait, come back. I like missed the entire show. This was like hearing privilege. And like, the ADA actually says I get rights to equal access in this situation. Come right back right now. So one of the customer service agents comes up to me and says, oh my God, he was screaming at you to open the fucking door. And I was just like, are you serious? This entire time I really just thought Helen was having a goth episode. And I was just sitting there, running my numbers. And I was just like, Helen, these numbers don't add up. And then I have to keep going, all while we're getting to open the fucking door. So that's when I realized that, like, as a deaf guy, I accidentally became the bravest guy in the bank. And it wasn't because I was actually courageous. I just literally couldn't hear the fucking problem. Anyway, by the way, that is a true story. And I have another freaky story, also true. So, when I had finished elementary school, I grew up in Lexington. My hometown was Lexington, the birthplace of the American Revolution. And so every summer, the Lions Club there would host a giant field day for the town with hundreds of kids. Lexington is where 251 years ago, last month, we had that shot heard around the world that you might know when the American Revolution started. And so for me, Lexington became the place of the choke heard around the playground. So on this field day, it's a sort of typical field day with various events, that there were potato sack races and pie eating contests, egg tosses, and then the final event of the day was a watermelon eating contest that everyone would participate in. The watermelon right in front of you to eat it as fast as you could. There'd be a table set up with awards and trophies, and I could just imagine my name on that trophy, that I could win it. I was determined. Now this was serious for me because sitting in the high school football bleachers was my crush, a girl named Lisa. And I had a crush on Lisa since second grade. And at that age, you know that you don't actually want to like date someone you have a crush on, you just sort of want them to know that you exist. So when they look at you, you get all flushed up. And you can imagine me as the sole deaf kid without any means of interpreting. I didn't have, of communicating. I didn't have an interpreter, I didn't have services around. And so if Lisa were to look at me or talk to me, that'd be like the equivalent of an orgasm. So I'm standing there holding this giant watermelon slice, staring at the trophy table, and the starting gun goes off, and everyone starts eating. And so they're being all very demure and polite with their napkins, spitting out the seeds, and I am a wild farm animal fighting for survival, as everyone else is chewing politely. And I just feel like Lisa's looking at me and like, oh, he's so athletic and wet, and oh my God, hydrated. And so I'm down, I've got 2 bites left, and I can see the trophy, and so naturally, I swallow way too much watermelon, and instantly my throat seizes up, so I'm choking. And one of the things about choking in public is that you're still aware of how embarrassing you look. So I panic, I throw the watermelon, and I feel like it's happening in slow motion, like we're in an action movie here. So I run over towards one of the volunteers working. He's in this bright yellow Lions Club vest with the lion patch. And he looks very official, very professional. So I'm thinking, thank God, a trained professional. And so I stand in front of him choking, and this man just stares at me. He's frozen, and I'm choking, and I'm like, okay, somebody, this man needs an adult. He forget me. Can anybody help this man who doesn't know what to do? And I'm getting the sense that this organization, the Lions Club, does seem to help lions, but apparently doesn't help children. And so my father comes running down from the bleachers. He sees that I can't breathe, but technically I can get a little bit of air going. So instead of using the hind leg, this man chooses cartoon logic, and he grabs me and turns me upside down by my ankles in front of the entire town, like I'm a fucking raccoon in a trash bag, while watermelon juice is pouring out of my face. And he starts shaking me up and down, and nothing is happening. And so he does it again, and it feels a little like a piggy bank where he's trying to maybe shake it and find the missing pennies, and there's still nothing going on. And so the third time, as I think I'm dying, I'm screaming, I'm like, don't let Lisa or anyone see me like this. And at last, the soggy watermelon chunk flies out. And so everyone's cheering, I've survived. The Lions Club gave me a ribbon. Like a fucking ribbon for surviving fruit. And like no trophy, not the trophy for most inspirational, just a ribbon, like I was in like a 5K that was sponsored by OSHA. And so to this day I actually don't even remember what place I came in, but medically, I think I finished first.